My name is Steve Rackerton. I'm a member of the Technology Committee, and a couple of months ago, Patty Carnegie sent me an email, said we should have somebody talk about how to prevent yourself from being a victim of an online scam, which I thought was a great idea. So skip forward a couple of months, Kevin's here. Kevin Donahue is from the Worcester County DA's office, and hopefully he's going to share some useful information to help keep everybody safer. The other thing I just want to mention real quick, these posters that you're seeing around here were all made by kids at BBT for celebrating Cybersecurity Week, which we had a couple of years ago. So we kept them because they're still relevant today. So these posters are all made by kids from BBT.
Just a little background about myself. I was an elementary school teacher for 35 years, so used to, teacher, there we go. I retired 6 years ago. I taught third grade for 25 years. In my last 10, I was a phys ed teacher for pre-K, which are 4-year-olds to fourth grade, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. I retired, like I said, 6 years ago, and when I did, I knew I didn't want to stop work completely, but I didn't want to have to go to work 5 days a week anymore. I was very fortunate. I applied for a job with the DA's office, and I was hired. I worked 3 6-hour days a week, so it works perfect for me. Now, 6 years ago, when he hired me, I was hired in the community outreach program, and then they put you through training about scams. And this first poster over here, when I first started working at the DA's office, number one way scammers were reaching out to people was by phone. So I always tell people, if your phone rings, if it's not in your contacts, if you don't recognize the number, do not answer the phone. Let it go to voicemail. And afterwards, you can make an educated decision about whether or not you want to call the person back. If they're telling you they're your bank or they're a business you do business with and they leave a number for you, never use that number. Always look up the number from a statement and then call them with that number, a number you know to be real. Okay, fast forward 6 years now, this is the number one way that they're reaching out to you. It's through emails and text messages. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, as well as while I'm talking about that, there'll be certain scams that we'll be talking about as well. Because I do have 2 different presentations. One kind of focuses a lot about all different scams, but everything I'm learning lately is saying that scammers, hackers are getting into our computers, and when I say computers, I mean these things too, because these are little computers. They're getting into our phones by us clicking on links, or by us downloading a document that we think is something that's legit. Couple of quick things I'm going to just mention. A new scam that's out, and I have a friend that fell for it, and I know several other people. You'll get a phone call. It spoofs the name of your bank. It's with the hopes that you do business with that bank. You answer the phone. Through a breach, they have information about you. So they're going to share some information with you about yourself. You're going to feel comfortable that you're talking to your bank. And then they're going to ask you for your username. Once you give them your username, they go into password reset. Now, if you've ever done password reset, we all know when we do it, we get a 2-way authentication code sent to us from our bank. The scammer knows that too. He tells you he's sending you the 2-way authentication code to verify who you are. Once you get it, please read it to him, so he knows he's actually speaking with you. Once you do that, he's into your bank account, he changes your password, he now has access to your funds. A friend of mine who lives in Worcester owns a painting business. He got a phone call, and on that spoof was his name of his bank. He answered it, he felt comfortable, they shared a little bit of information with him. He shared his username. All of a sudden, 5 minutes into the conversation, he's thinking to himself, is this a scam? That little voice in his head. He hung up the phone, he called his bank with a number he knows to be true. They said, you've been scammed. They hooked him up with the fraud department. He was fortunate, he got his money back. It was almost $5,000 in 5 minutes. Now, 2 weeks ago, I was doing a presentation, and a woman that was there was in her mid-40s. And I mentioned that scam. And then she said to me, Last year I was on vacation and my husband got that phone call. And they convinced him that his bank account was breached and for him to remove his funds and to put it into Bitcoin. And they even gave him the account number. He removed $50,000. He put it into a bank account, and like yesterday I was in Shrewsbury, and someone said, well, those machines aren't around here. I said, I know in Shrewsbury there's one right in Stop and Shop. It's right at the front of the store. I've been in the Stop and Shop. I've seen it. I said, there's many towns, they have them in gas stations. They're easy access. Scammers know where they are. They'll tell you where to go. And they'll tell you how to do it. I know of a woman who was in her 80s who fell for one of those scams. She believed them. Her money was in jeopardy. She had to move it. But if we just take a step back from that sense of urgency and think, if our money's really in jeopardy in that bank account, what would the bank do? Shut down that account. Open you a new account. Give you a new debit card. We all know that to be true. But at that moment, you're worried about your money. And if that's what they want, sense of urgency. Now, one of the big things the DA wants out of me coming to different facilities is for people to realize it's okay to talk about scams and it's okay to share if you were scammed. Because if someone in here was recently scammed and they share it, it decreases the likelihood of other people in this room falling for the same scam. I don't know if anyone here watches Shark Tank. It's on television. Barbara Kerkorian, she's a billionaire. She fell for a $300,000 scam. She received an email. It was telling her that they finished working on her property in Germany. And they attached an invoice. She paid the $300,000. Within a short period of time, she realized the email that she received was like 1 or 2 characters off. So someone knew who her contractor was in the email. And they just tweaked it a little bit. Something that wouldn't be noticed. What did Barbara Kerkorian do? She went on social media and told the world, hey, it happened to me, it can happen to anyone. And that's what you have to realize. It can happen to anyone. But, I was talking with my family the other day at Easter, and one of my sisters said, I don't see how anyone could ever fall for those scams. They just don't seem realistic enough. I said, they are very good. I said, you have to realize, scammers, the whole idea of it has evolved. These people don't have another job like you do. This is their job, and it's a lucrative field for them. They'll send out thousands of emails with the hopes of getting a certain percentage to click on them. And then they're making their money. So, today I'm here more to talk about, like I said, to encourage people to share, whether you want to share with me but you should share if either A, you're falling for one, B, someone tried to scam you, let other people know about it. Because I'm going to tell you this, I feel like I try to stay on top of all the different scams that are out there, but there's always a new one. I mean, since I started working at the DA's office, many of the scams are the same, but some of them have been tweaked just a little bit. And then you get the new ones that have been around, like the grandparent scam. I'm sure people have heard about the grandparent scam. I was talking with Steve about it before this presentation started. These are very realistic. You're going to get a voice, and they're going to be crying on the other end of the phone. And if a gentleman answers, they're going to say grandpa. If a woman answers, it's going to say grandma. And, I'm in trouble, but the voice is distraught. You can't really recognize who it is. And many times what a grandparent does will say, is that you, Sally? Or is that you, Billy? You just gave them the name. And yes, it's me. I was telling Steve, I know of one where the woman called the grandmother. She'd been arrested. It was on a Friday. And she was crying, please, Grandma, bail me out, but please don't tell Mom and Dad. I don't want to get in any more trouble than I'm already in. $9,000 for bail. She paid it. Now, this woman had money. She paid it. The next day, she gets a phone call. And the voice is her granddaughter again, saying, Grandma, I'm in trouble. Then a gentleman gets on the phone. He speaks, he identifies himself as a police officer, and he explains to the grandmother that the woman that was in the other car was pregnant. She has lost her baby. Your granddaughter is now facing manslaughter. Then someone else gets on the phone. They identify themselves as an attorney. And they let the grandmother know that this other party is willing to settle out of court already. It's all been done within a night. $42,000. And they tell the grandmother, when you are taking the money out, there is a gag order in effect, which means you cannot talk about this with anyone. When you go to the bank, if anyone questions what you were doing, you tell them you were making a real estate transaction. She did it. They had a courier come to her home, pick up the money's gone. 3 days later, she gets a phone call. Either you or your granddaughter violated the gag order. As a result of this, there's a warrant being issued for the immediate arrest of your granddaughter. Unless you paid a penalty. Each time it went up, I believe it was, altogether it came to $108,000. It was like $57,000. This woman paid it. Now she lived in this one was from California. I know of people locally up to about $50,000 that they've been scammed. So you have to be careful. Now, with the grandparent scam, they play on our emotions. I have 8 grandkids. I'd do anything for any one of my grandkids. But I'm fortunate right now they're only 6 and under. So I'm not getting one of those phone calls. However, as they get older, I'm going to give them either a password or a passphrase. Where when they're on the phone and they're saying, Grandpa, I'm in trouble, I'm going to say, what's the passphrase? And it could be, Papa likes to go for long walks. It could be whatever you want it to be, something you're going to remember. But I have 8 grandkids. They're all going to have the same one because I'm not going to remember 8 of them. And from there, it protects you and it protects your grandkids. Because there's always that sense of urgency. You can't call anyone. Don't tell anyone. I don't want to get in any more trouble. Now those are, every time I think I can stop talking about the grandparent scam, I keep hearing about someone that's fallen for it and lost a lot of money. The important thing just to realize is passwords, passphrase, they'll protect you. Just like what we have to do on our own computers or on our phones. Now there's a thing out there called artificial intelligence, where if someone gets a hold of your grandchild's voice, and realize this, the younger population posts everything online, on all social media pages, where it's not hard to find someone's voice. These would be, grandparent scams have always been random before. With artificial intelligence, it would be more of a targeted scam. I know Steve has some money. I know he has a grandchild. I'm going to get an audio clip of Steve's grandchild voice. I'm going to make it say, Grandpa, I'm in trouble. Or I see on social media, they don't call him Grandpa, they call him Papa. I'm going to make it say, Papa, I'm in trouble. So I'm making it fit him. He's hearing his voice. He's going to think it's real. However, if he says, what's the passphrase or password and he doesn't know it, it's not him. Okay? Today's presentation that I have, I get a lot of this information from Harvard University and the FTC, so I do disclose that just in case that anyone working from the FTC or they're watching this video here, they'll see that I did disclose it. However, I just took a few just different captions. Phishing and smishing scams, what are they? These are the ways that people are getting into our systems, and these are the ways that people are getting our information. Phishing emails. Phishing attacks come with emails. There are attachments that are in an email. They're trying to get you to click on a link. Smishing are text messages. It's the same thing as an email. It's a link. They're trying to get you to click on the link. Now I'm telling you this now, and I'm going to tell you at the end of the presentation. By you looking at an email or you looking at a text message, nothing is happening to you. When you click on that link, you are allowing a lot of things to happen. One, you're allowing the possibility that they're going to put ransomware on your computer, where they make you pay in order for you to receive, be able to reuse your computer again. Or they put malware, or they put spyware. Spyware allows them to get into your system. And if they get in your computer, like so many people, what's your name?
Sandy.
What is it?
Sandy.
Sandy, I'm in Sandy's computer. Sandy clicked on a link of an email I sent her. I am now able to get into her computer. And I'm going to her history. And I see she goes to Bank of America a lot. So I'm going to click on that Bank of America account. I'm gonna hit login. Lo and behold, Sandy's one of the high percentage of people that save her username and password. I'm now in her account. I now have access to her funds and I can transfer them wherever I'd like to put them. So we have to realize, I mean, and you think about it, how many of us, and I don't want you to raise your hand, have saved the username or password so when we click login, it makes our life easy. It's great as long as nobody else ever gets access to your computer. It's the same thing as what we used to do when technology first came out. We had to make a username and password. We all took a Post-it, we wrote it on it, we stuck it on the top of our computer so we remember what it was. You walk through workstations today, you don't see anyone doing that. They'd probably get fired pretty quickly. We've learned that these are there to protect us, like that poster that someone made over there from Blackstone Valley Tech with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Make sure your passwords are strong. But you don't make them strong and then save them in it, because if you did, they're not really strong anymore.
Is it just if you save your username and your password together? Because some places let you save your username. And you don't have to save
Okay, if you save your username, they still have to figure out your password. However, I would suggest that you don't save any of it and that you just put it in on your own. Like, I have a blue book that's probably twice the size of my phone, and anytime I have to change a password or a username, I write it in my book, and then I don't leave it by my computer. I put it in a drawer in the house where I know where it is. So if I'm going on a particular thing, I take out my book and I'm able to retrieve my username and password. Because realize this, scammers know that, like, if you have your username saved and they get into it and they see, oh, her username is Sandy dot whatever, they know that the likelihood that you use that username for something else is great, because many people do. Everyone doesn't create new usernames all the time, even though we're told to. Everyone doesn't create new passwords every time, even though we know we're supposed to. Many people have the same username and password for all of their accounts. So if someone hacks into one of your accounts, they try those numbers and those passwords for all of your accounts, thinking that you're one of the percentage of people that actually do it that way. So you just want to keep your information safe. I would suggest you don't save any of it, and you just save it in, a little blue book. People have password managers in their computers, whatever you want. Something that's not just an autofill, because if someone, like I said, they get on your computer, first thing I want to check is, where do you go with your history? Oh, you go to Fidelity. Oh, I wonder if that's their retirement plan. Let's see what's in there. They get into your accounts quicker than any of us could ever figure out getting into our own accounts. That's what I always say. They are good at technology. That's why they've gone away from just using the phone. Now they're over to the emails and text messages, because this allows them access right into your computers, right into our phone, where we are storing our information. All right, now, email messages that look like they are from legitimate agencies or businesses that ask for account numbers or personal information. Now, you get this, but if you get an email from a business and it's asking you for information, don't they already have that information? So why are they asking you for it? Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've been preaching since I started working at the DA's office that we should all freeze our credit as we get older. Okay, because we're not taking out as many loans. I'm not buying a new home. I just bought a car last year. I'm not buying a new car. So I don't take out new loans. I'm not a guy taking out new credit cards. Well, freeze your credit. Well, I've been preaching it, but I wasn't the guy doing it. And within the last 5 months, I got a letter from Shields MRI, my information been breached. St. Vincent's Hospital, my information been breached. UMass Hospital, my information's been breached. Harvard Pilgrim, my information been breached. And what's the other one? Blue Cross, Dental Blue, my information been breached. Harvard Pilgrim I haven't had in I don't know how many years. And with them, with the breach, my full Social Security number was breached. Now, if your full Social Security number is breached, they have to offer you identity theft protection, which they did. I took it. It's for 2 years. So it makes you feel good, comfortable for 2 years that, at least someone's monitoring my credit for me. But they could use my information 2 years, 1 day from now. Just because they have your information doesn't mean they use it immediately. And when scammers get information, realize this, they sell it to other scammers as well. So once your information's out there, it's out there. And I'm going to tell you this, everyone in this room, someone has bits and pieces of your information. And many times they'll do something like this to reach out to you to try to get a piece of the information that maybe they don't have. Or that, Sandy, since I know your name, I'm just going to use you for example. Sandy gets a phone call. Now Sandy, normally, her doctor is a physician from UMass Hospital. So Sandy gets a phone call and says, hi, this is Dr. Smith's office with UMass. So she says, now that's your doctor. So she said, yes. I said, is this Sandy? And she tells me it's her. I said, Sandy, I'm just following up on your visit from January when you were in to see the doctor because your left knee was bothering you and the doctor prescribed ibuprofen. How's your knee doing? You tell me it's doing much better. I said, I'm glad to hear it. So you discontinued taking the ibuprofen, correct? She'll tell me yes. I tell her, while I have you on the phone, I'm just going to update some of your information. Now I'm going to give her information about herself that is true. I'm going to say, this is your best contact number. I'm going to read her the number I called her on. Your address is, I'm going to read her address because I have it. Her last four of her social is 2356. Is that correct? And Sandy says yes. I said, Sandy, can you verify your full social security number for me, please? Now I give her enough information where she feels comfortable. Now I'm trying to extract something because I don't have your full social security number. But I did get bits and pieces from a breach that I got information from. So what I want you to realize when we talk about the phone, if someone calls you, you don't share any information if they called you. As soon as, if you're talking to someone and you're thinking, oh, my bank called me, and then they're telling you to verify something, hang up, call your bank back with a number you know to be true. And I'm not saying sometimes your bank might not call. My bank has called me a couple of times, but I'll never share information with them over the phone. I'll tell them, I'll call you back, and I hang up, and then I look up the number off my statement. Now with this one's coming from an email. And it's basically saying that, there's a problem with your account or whatever, and we need to get verify your information. An example of it, you get an email from a bank telling the customer their account has been compromised and locked. It includes a link to enter your account number and password to unlock your account. Now let me ask you this, Steve's account has been locked, okay, because I'm a scammer, and I've been in his account, I've been taking out his money. His bank knows about it, and so they froze his account. Now they send Steve an email just telling him to put his password and username in to unfreeze it. If he does that, what's going to happen? I'm going to be back in there stealing more money. It makes no sense. These links, it's telling you, enter it. Do not click on any of the links. These are all scams. All of them. Every one you get. I get one from, because a big one is subscription renewals. I get one from Sirius XM Radio all the time. Do I have Sirius? Yes. Is that a scam? Yes. All subscriptions, they'll send them out. Netflix is a popular one. They'll send it out. Your subscription has expired. Click on the link. They're all scams. If you ever get one and you're thinking, oh, I have Netflix or I have that, do not click on the link. Reach out to the company directly if you think your subscription has expired. These are all ways that they are stealing your personal identifying information in or getting into your systems, getting into your computers. Now, a phishing email is designed to trick you into doing one of these things. They want you to click on a link. They want you to open up an unsafe document. They want you to share your username or password, and they want you to share financial information or make a payment. They're trying to get, at the end, they're trying to get your personal identifying information. At the beginning, here, they're trying to get your username and password. So let's say I send you something, and it's from Amazon, or it looks like it's from Amazon. It's an imposter, but it looks like it came from Amazon. And so it tells you you have to update your information. But in order to do that, you click on the link, and it asks you for your username and password. It's a scammer trying to get your username and password. And once you get in, then they're going to ask you for payment information. So now you're going to load in your payment information. Now someone has your username and password. They have your account information that you're using for payment. They can purchase things from Amazon, have it sent wherever they want. and you might not be onto it for a while. It's gone. Or they take your credit card information, they can use it for purchases wherever they would like. But realize this, if you're gonna link anything to any type of payment, link your credit card. Do not link your debit card or your banking information. Credit cards offer you more liability protection than your bank will. Okay, many banks, if you say, oh, you know, I made this purchase, but it was a scam. Did you authorize it? The answer is yes, you made that payment. If someone physically removes money from your bank without your authorization, then you're going to be with the fraud department, you're going to get the money back. But if you authorize a charge, you're not going to with your bank. With a credit card, you may very well get it back. Okay, cyber attackers fish for a lot of different reasons. They fish for your money. They fish for your personal identifying information. And personal identifying information is your name, your birthday, your social security number, your address, phone number, things that pertain to you. Okay, what can they do with that information? Possible identity theft. That's why, like, if your credit is frozen, they can't open up any new credit in your name. It doesn't mean they can't access your credit cards that you have now or try to get into your bank account information. It just means they can't open up new accounts. They want network access. Now, I'm the guy at the DA's office that goes around giving presentation about scams. I do not want to be the guy at the DA's office that is known for clicking on a link and letting someone into the DA's network and having the system crash or holding the DA's office for ransomware, for ransom. I don't want to be that guy, so I verify. Even if my boss sends me an email, a lot of times I might shoot him a text. Hey, Don, did you just send me an email with an attachment? He says yes, then I know I can open it. And he knows why I'm asking him. I don't want to be the guy that opens up one. Because throughout a day, you know, so many emails are sent out. Well, you know, it could be something that says, you know, tech department or whatever. There's been possible scams at the DA's office. Please click the link below to download protection or whatever. And you click on that link, and you just let a person in because it said IT department, and you're thinking it was your tech department, and it wasn't. It was a scammer who just sent that out to thousands of people, and I was the one who bid on it because I was just in a hurry and I wasn't really thinking. And that's what they want. They want you to go quickly with things. So if someone's ever trying to get you to, you know, give them money, always, you know, take that step back. And, you know, one thing I said to Steve before the start, it's always good to have another set of ears to hear things. Whether it's a spouse, it's a family member, it's a friend, someone, before you send money to anyone, always talk it over with someone, because sometimes that other person might just realize, hey, that's a scam. And they're able to, you know, tell you that before you invest. Because once people put money out there, sometimes it's hard to convince them that they've been scammed because they've invested monetarily and they don't want to believe that they've been scammed. Oh, and the other one's social media account access. You know, I'll pick on someone else other than saying, what's your name? Eileen. I have a sister, Eileen. Is it E-I-L-E-N?
E-I-L.
All right. So Eileen, I've hacked into her system, and I'm now on her social media. Let's say she has Facebook. I see all of her contacts. I'm going to change Eileen's password so she no longer has access to her Facebook account. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out an email blast to all of her friends. I'm going to tell them how I fell on hard times, and, you know, I'm unable to work, I'm in the hospital, you name it, I could use some financial assistance. Anything you could give me, I greatly appreciate. I send it out to all of her friends. I give them an account that they can Venmo or what have you to send me money, or through gift cards, which gift cards are still one of the most popular things out there. Her friends read about it, they're thinking it's from her, and there's a good likelihood I'm going to get some information. Or another type of scam on the social media, I'll send all of her friends an email, and it might even be one that says on the top, look who died. It's a very popular one out on social media. Everyone's always curious who has died. click on the link, they've just downloaded spyware onto your computer. You don't click on any links that are anything like that. You know, there are so many games that you see on Facebook. What car did you drive back in 1968? Or what street did you grow up on? All of these ways, all these questions, all these games that you take part in are ways that scammers try to steal your passwords. You have to realize they're not games. Someone has devised these, and your friend who has played it shares it, so you see it on Facebook and you think, oh, it's safe. It's not. You got to. Why share? Why share this information? Like, what is the purpose? Why are they asking for it? Because a lot of us, if you drove a '69 Mustang, that might be one of your passwords or something. And if you live, you know, if you grew up on Smith Road, maybe that's part of a password or a username. Scammers know this because we all use things like pets' names, streets, schools, children, grandchildren. Those are all things that we all use in our passwords, and they know that. Now, phishing messages are designed to get you to react quickly without thinking too much. Like I said, they create a sense of urgency. They might have, you won the foreign lottery. However, you didn't enter it, but you won it. But there are upfront charges associated with it. There are lawyer fees, there are taxes, all these different things you have to pay in order to get the money. And if you pay them, they're probably going to come up with some more fees and taxes for you to pay. Now, a friend of mine just won $100,000 on a scratch ticket maybe 2 weeks ago. And he cashed it in. And like always, I don't believe when someone tells me, so I told him, take a picture of the check when you get it. The check was for $72,000. Why? The taxes have been removed from him. He didn't have to come up with $28,000 and give it to them for them to give him $100,000. They gave him his check for $72,000. Federal and state tax were removed. Scammers don't do it that way. There's an upfront charge. They're charging you to receive the funds. It's a scam. I read an article about a woman and being a teacher. She was a retired principal, so I just kind of held it to heart. She was in her 80s, and someone had contacted her telling her she won a lottery, and she had these taxes and fees and whatever that she had to pay. She paid it. Then they came up with some more money that she had to pay. She paid it. And this woman was not looking at how much money she was getting for herself. She was thinking about how she was going to help her community, what she was going to do for the school that she used to work at. All of these thoughts were going through her head. And then finally, someone came upon where, I don't know if she shared with someone, I forget how it went, and someone said, you're being scammed. She didn't want to believe it. She still made another payment. And then she realized it was a lost hope. The money's not coming back that you paid out. It's gone. Now, this next one, confirmation, package pending delivery. How many people in here shop online? Raise your hand if you ever buy anything online. Ever. It doesn't mean you have to do it every day. How many of you never shopped online before COVID? Anybody here? Never did before COVID? How many of you never did before COVID but did during COVID? And that's what scammers realized. They realized we have a whole new market here. Everyone is shopping online. As a result of this, there are millions of packages going across the United States every day. So what do scammers come up with? Package pending delivery, insufficient address, you name it. Click on the link below. They get you to click on the link. They're getting you to share your personal identifying information. And sometimes they even get you to share payment information because it was insufficient postage. And that's why the package couldn't be delivered. So then they get you to share payment information as well. So that came about as COVID. This one, odd request. During COVID, more and more people started working from home. People our age started looking for jobs too at home because everybody was stuck at home. So scammers realized people want jobs to work from home. So we're going to start posting more jobs for work at home opportunity, just like legitimate businesses do. And when we hire, this is where the odd request comes in. I'm going to tell Steve he's hired. Now Steve he applied for a job of just stuffing envelopes for me. I told him he's going to make $600 a week. Okay? I'm going to forward him a check for $800. I'm going to tell Steve He has to go to the store and he's going to buy the envelopes, pens, whatever he's going to need for his job. With the other $400 that's left, he's going to send it to Sandy. Now, Sandy's part of my scam. He's going to be sending Sandy $400. So he sends $400 off to Sandy. He buys the materials with the other $400. 2 weeks later, the check I sent him is bouncing like one of those blue rubber balls that's on that table over there. He's out the $400 he paid for materials, and he's out the $400 that he sent to Sandy because she's part of my scam. And even if I have you send it to someone else, that someone else could still be me. I could be running the whole scam by myself. The other one, rewards. You know, if I believed every reward that came through, on my phone or on my computer, I'd be, I don't know how many 101 socket sets I'd have. I get one every week where it says Ace Hardware. I've won a 101 socket set. Click on the link below to claim it. Now, I happen to shop at Ace, but that has nothing to do with it. Steve might not have walked in Ace Hardware ever in his life. He gets the same email. Why? Because all they're doing is using emails that were breached, and it's a mass email blast. And all they're looking for is a certain percentage of people to click to claim it. And when you do, we're going to ask you for your personal identifying information. And even though you want it, maybe there's a delivery fee, postage fee, so I'm going to ask you for a small amount of money. But by that, I'm trying to get maybe your banking information or your credit card information. And then the last one, IT support. Now, people say, how could someone ever fall for a scam? Now, I'm 63 now. I think when I was 43 maybe, I almost fell for that scam, hook, line, and sinker. I was at home, I was working on my computer, I was doing some schoolwork, and I'm just thinking to myself, boy, is my computer running slow. We've all had that thought, boy, is my computer running slow. Well and behold, a pop-up came on my top of my computer, top right-hand corner, and it said, Microsoft is monitoring your computer, and we have detected several viruses. Please call this number. And I did. And then after I called the number, they asked me to go to a particular website where they didn't take remote access to your computer. Now, I don't know if I went back long enough in time, because this is back when the computers are actually plugged into the wall. So, just as I'm putting the email in there, I'm thinking to myself, I think I'm being scammed. That little voice in my head. I'm shutting my computer off, I'm whipping the wire out of the wall, and I'm thinking, I hope the guy didn't get me, right? And then I brought my computer to school the next day. And Mike Sullivan was our tech guy back where I was a teacher, and I always used him to do repairs. So I said, Mike, will you take my computer home today and just look through it, let me know, did I let someone in? Are there more viruses? Why was my computer running slow? He brings it back, he said, you had a lot of junk on your computer. I cleared it up. You're lucky you shut it down when you did, because there's no harm done to your computer. They're not in your system. But I've spoken to several people that have fallen for that scam. Okay? I have a brother that passed away 6-7 years ago, and he had a son who, when he was 21, was in a car accident. He has a traumatic brain injury. And he called me one night, and he's on one phone, and he's on his cell phone with me, and he's saying, Uncle Kev, I need some money. And I was in charge of his money because of his traumatic brain injury. I said, what do you need money for, Joe? He said, I'm on the phone with a guy from, and I think it was Microsoft, but it could be Norton. They can use whatever name they want, any virus protection. He said, I got a pop-up on my computer, and they're telling me that it's going to be $296 or whatever to remove the viruses. I said, Joe? I said, you on the other phone with the gentleman? He said, yeah. I said, hang up the phone. I'll come over your house tomorrow. There is no virus on your computer. I said, shut your computer down. And sometimes what happens is they'll throw a blast at your computer where it's like it's frozen, and there'll be a number or a link to click on. Don't. Shut your computer down. If you can't shut it down the normal way, Control-Alt-Delete or hold the power button. Shut it down. Most of the time when you do that, your computer will open back up for you. But it's a way they try to get the scam to work with you. Your computer is inoperable, but I can fix it. I'm the one who created the damage. Of course I can fix it. Okay, so what happens when you get a phishing email or a smishing text? Nothing, as long as you don't click on the link. That's what I said at the beginning. Don't click on the link and nothing will happen. Now I'm just going to show you a few emails that I've received. How many of you have ever received one that looks just like this? It's a scam. That is not UPS. Just because they have the little UPS truck and the UPS logo at the top, they're just waiting for you to click on the link. Then they're going to steal your information and or, like put spyware into your computers. This is the one I was talking about, Netflix. Looks legit. And it says your Netflix subscription has expired. Unfortunately, we're unable to renew your subscription. If you choose to keep your subscription active, you should update your profile. As part of our loyalty program, we'll give you 90 days free. And then on the bottom, it's a little smaller print. After signing up, you have to insert your credit card details for validation of your account. We will not withdraw any money. Don't worry about it, okay? So they're trying to make you feel comfortable. It looks like it's from Netflix. They're telling you, they're giving you 3 months free. Why do they have Netflix? Why use that name? Because they know, when I say they, I'm talking about scammers, hackers, they know that in order to have I don't want to use the name, in order to have cable television, I'm not going to use any particular company's name, cable prices have skyrocketed. Many people no longer use that. They'll use the internet and then they stream services. They might have Netflix, they might have Hulu. Hulu allows them to watch regular television. Netflix allows them to watch movies. They're able to get it at a cheaper rate. They bundle up whatever they want to watch. And that's what people are doing. Well, hackers know that, and Netflix is the #1 streaming service out there. So I'm going to send out email blasts with the word Netflix, and I'm going to see how many bites I can get. And trust me, I guarantee this one gets a lot. This is one I got from Lowe's, and survey scams skyrocketed during COVID. And like I said, scammers knew we're all at home, we're bored, we're on our computers, we're on our phones, and so they're sending out these surveys. Take a 3-minute survey, get a $50 gift card. Whoa, think of how many. So by 3 minutes, I can get $50. How many of those can I do in an hour? That's going to be pretty good. They're scams. They want you're going to click on a link. Maybe they're going to download malware or spyware. Maybe they're going to ask you for your personal identifying information so they can send you the gift card, which you're never going to receive. So we always have to be careful about it. If they sound too good to be true, probably are. And I'm not saying there aren't legitimate survey scams. I mean, legitimate surveys, not scams. Legitimate surveys. However, I would choose to opt out of all of them so I don't get scammed instead of trying to get a quick $10 for doing a survey where they normally send you on either a card or they're going to send you it through the internet and they expire within a certain period if you don't use them anyways. Now this one, I get this one in November. It says, Amazon message. As a new Amazon regulation, we need to ask our customers to update their account information in order to continue using Amazon shopping. Then it says update here. If the customer does not update their account information within the next 24 hours, your Amazon account will be permanently closed, and then it gives you an Amazon ID number. Now the ID number is supposed to make you feel safe because it's like a badge number, like a police officer's number, make you feel safe and secure. Sense of urgency, you have 24 hours to do it. It's November. What are people doing in November? Christmas shopping. Scammers timed this one perfect. Get the person to click on a link. What's the #1 shopping platform out there? Amazon. And they scammers know that too. So it's a way to get you to click on a link and share your information. Okay, I just have a couple left. This one. Due to recent activity on your account, we place a temporary suspension until you verify your account information. You need to review your information with us now. Now, click here to review your account information. What do you think is going to happen once you click on it? It's going to ask you for your personal identifying information. Now, this one only works with someone that has an American Express card. So if you have American Express and you get this email, you're thinking, oh, Must be legit, because I have American Express. Doesn't mean anything. They're sending it to thousands of people. You're just one of the percentage of people that actually have American Express. That's what I just want you to realize. Like, a lot of times we get something in an email or in a text, and we actually go to that bank or we go to that store, so we're assuming it's real. But it doesn't mean it is. It's just, it's random. And it's, you know, there are a lot of people that don't have it, and right away they look at it, they go, oh, scam. But then the people that do have that account, they say, oh, is that legit? Well, if you think it's legit, you never click on it. You look up the number yourself. If it's a credit card, look up the number right on the card, call the company and say, hey, I just got this email. Is this true? Has my account been breached? Ask them that way. Now this one says trusted bank. It could say Santander Bank. It could say Bank of America. It could say Fidelity. Whatever. The hopes is, whatever name is there, there's going to be a percentage of people that are going to click on the link. Now this one said, we received notice that you have recently attempted to withdraw $135.25 while you're out of this country. Now if you look through this email, you're going to see spelling mistakes, you're going to see grammatical mistakes. Those are signs that it's from a scammer, because they don't have a communications department that proofreads their scams. They just send them out. Okay? Now, if you have that bank and you're seeing that someone took out money and they're from out of the country, and it's saying if you didn't do that, please verify by clicking on the link, odds are you're going to click on the link because you're saying, I didn't do that. That's not mine. I want to stop that. And you're clicking on the link. No, don't click on the link. Call your bank directly and say, hey, this is what I just received. Is this legitimate? And they're probably going to tell you it's a scam. And most of the time, like I've received a couple from my bank, well not from my bank, from an imposter pretending to be, I use Santander. What does it say? I call Santander and they told me forward it to them. Because on most banks, they'll have on a web page potential scams, different things that are out there. But the problem is we don't all go looking for those. They're on their web page. But when was the last time anyone here went to a particular store or bank's web page to see what scams are active? Not recently. I don't do it either. Now that's the last one I have from with that presentation. I don't know if anyone, I know someone said they had a couple of, was it you?
Oh, it was me.
It was you.
You've answered most of them, but I had a question about it. I got a text yesterday that said $240 some had been charged at Target, and to click on it. Well, I didn't click on it.
Okay.
But I spent the next hour or hour and 15 minutes calling Target and getting moved around to check.
All right. Now, can I give you a quick thing? If you ever get one of those and it's telling you, like, you know, did you authorize the $242.52 at Target? Okay. Now, think to yourself, what do I normally use for payment at Target? Do I use a credit card? What do I use? Just go online, look at your statement, see if that purchase even went through. That's a quick, simple check. Okay? I'm going to tell you, those are all scams, and they're trying to get you to click on the link because, no, I did not authorize that. And the way they word it is for you to click on it if you did not authorize that charge.
Yeah, well, did I have to bother calling?
I would, if that puts your mind at ease, yeah, you could call Target. My first thing for me to have done is I always go right to my account. I know my account said, you know, I would have gone to my bank, no. Gone to my credit card, no. It's not, there was no charge. Because I've got lots of them. I've got one from when I said my Santander account, it said my account had been frozen because someone withdrew 1,000, I forgot how much, 1,500 something dollars at a particular site. So immediately, instead of clicking on that link, I went to my bank website and I clicked in, logged in, and there was no money moved. And then it said my account had been frozen. I moved $1 from my checking to my savings, $1 from my savings to my checking. Then I called my bank and I told them about the email, and then they had me forward it to them. But you can, there's always ways you can check a little bit on your own. When you call Target, so it said it was a $225 purchase to your account. And was it saying on your credit card, or what did it say it was on? Didn't say, it left it vague.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assumed it was on my Target credit card. So I called Target then as I was getting passed around and, you know, waiting, I thought, well, maybe it's a scam on my other credit card.
Yeah.
So I typed in the number.
And
checked
they're all
or
fine.
something.
Yeah.
But did I have to waste my time doing that? Could I just have relied on the fact that that was a scam?
I personally would have checked my accounts, but then I would have also, when in doubt, I would still call the store and say, hey, look, I just got this email. Right away, they're aware of all the different scams that are out there. They weren't?
Not that one.
What did you get, just the store itself, or what?
I called the Target number. I think it was a customer service number.
Okay, yeah, I would have thought they would have hooked you someone right away with like fraud department or something.
Well, that was the third person.
That was your third person? It wasn't that long of a line, but a little bit more time than you wanted. But at least at the end of that hour, guess what? You were relieved,
Right.
right? That's, because there's nothing worse than, I don't know what you'll like, Sandy, but I know if I go to bed that night and I haven't resolved that issue, my mind's going to be spinning all night long, and I'm not going to, I might get an hour worth of sleep for the whole night because my mind's just going to keep spinning. My wife always says, you got to find the switch for that thing and shut it off. Because if anything bothered me, it continues to circulate all night long, and that would have bothered me. So I would have been, yeah, I feel like at least you put yourself at ease that it was a scam. I'm just going to say one other thing, then I'll go to, when she was mentioning the Target one. When I first started at the DA's office, a gentleman told me that he was looking for a television, and he was looking for, it was the curved ones, they were like high def, it had all the bells and whistles, and it was a big one, and at the time he said it was like $3,000. Now he Googled it, and he found it for $2,000. He bought it. 2 weeks later, he got a large manila envelope in the mail with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with a picture of a television. Now, you don't always get something. Sometimes you'll get nothing. That added insult to injury. Now, I want you to realize something. When you Google search, scammers pay to be on the top of Google searches as well. So just because you Google something doesn't mean it's legit. So you just have to realize that, because I always say this. If you shop online, shop at the stores you normally shop at. Don't go looking for that big sale item like around the holidays. All the grandkids want a particular toy. But yet all the stores are out of them, but there's this site on the internet that has plenty of them. And they're at a reduced rate. It's a scam. They want your payment information, all your personal information. Those are scams. I'm sorry.
It's probably easier if you read it, but I just got it a little while ago, coincidentally.
Don't click on it.
I wasn't clicking on it. My eyes are just as bad as his. All right, which way? I can hold it there or hold it here? Okay. Hi, this is to inform you that AT&T DirecTV has applied a 50% discount on your monthly bill to keep their offer active. Please call back at, and then it gives them a phone number. Okay. I would...
Really, 50% every month.
No, I would assume that was a scam. And if I had AT&T in, what was that, DirecTV, what I would do is I would look at my statement, I would find a number on my statement, I would call them. And I would say, hey, I received this email today, and it said there's a 50% offer for me. Is this true? Because I want you to realize, all these 50% offers from Spectrum, from Comcast, they're not coming from them. They're coming from imposters. Okay, the number one scam out there, according to the article I read the other day, are imposter scams. Okay? I don't want to get the numbers wrong. I believe it was imposter scams reported to the FTC. It was 160,000 were government imposter scams, and it was 330,000 business imposter scams. And think about all the emails and all the text messages you get with offers. Those are the business imposter scams. And then think about, so many people are getting emails about their Medicare card. You got to get your new card. That's a scam. So many people get emails from Social Security Administration saying that either, I'll give you an example of one woman. She got a letter sent to her home. Now, I always said, government agencies don't call you, they don't email you, they don't text you. They use the United States Postal Service. The only way they're going to call you is if you call them and you ask for a call back. Call them. In walks a woman with a letter from Social Security Administration. And basically it said that her Social Security number had been used in 3 crimes. What was it? Money laundering, theft by deception, and drug trafficking in the state of Texas. As a result of this, her Social Security benefits are going to cease immediately until this issue is resolved. Now, it said it happened in the state of Texas, and at the bottom it was signed by, it said Attorney General, I believe his name was Ken Paxton. Now, if you look up the Attorney General for the state of Texas, it was Ken Paxton. But anyone can do that. And they had the logos for the Social Security Administration right on the top. It all looked legit. Screenshot. You take images and you can put them on any document you want. Gave her a number to call to resolve her issue. She said, would you call this if you were me? I said, if I was you, I would not call you that number. She said, what would you do? I said, I would reach out to Social Security Administration on my own. I said, if you want, after the presentation's over, we can sit together and we can go through it. And we did. Make a long story short, it was a scam. It's just a letter. And what scares somebody more than getting a letter from Social Security Administration as a senior and it's telling you your Social Security benefits are going to cease? Which means you're not getting your pay next month. You're not going to buy your groceries. You're not going to pay your bills because you have no money. And realize some people live off of their Social Security check because they might not have any other nest egg. And for those people, that is scary. And so it gets them to call the number. And when you call the number, you're going to get a person who's going to talk to you. They're going to probably extract some of your personal identifying information. And maybe they're going to say, Steve, you sound like a nice guy. I believe it wasn't you. However, I'm going to work this as best I can. There are going to be some fines levied against you. I'm going to get him to pay something. And when he does that, I'm getting his payment information. So even if I tell him I'm going to let him off the hook for $500, once I get his payment information, maybe I'll take the $500 and then see if there's more in it. Try to extract more. So, anybody else have another question? Yes? Where? Oh, go ahead.
Again, I got a notice from Experian because I was on that Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yeah.
And they, gave each year's Experian that my email address had been found on the dark web.
Okay, I'm going to tell you this.
Is that legit or is that?
Do you pay for Experience and monitor your credit?
No, well, no, Blue
So-
Cross Blue Shield's doing that.
So why? Because your information was breached?
Yeah.
Okay, so as a result of that, you got a letter from Experian saying that your email address was on the dark web out there? So if you got that and that's a monitoring system for you, I'd probably change it. However, your email address doesn't mean they're not saying they had your password. Because I just want you to realize this. When you're getting these emails and you're getting these text messages, your email has been breached. That's how you're getting those. Those text messages, someone has your phone number. That's how you're getting those. They get them from breaches.
Yeah, well, this was an email, but would Experian contact me that way?
I'll be honest with you, I have, I forget what the monitoring company's name now. It's not one of the big ones like Experian or TransUnion or Equifax. And they tell me different things like that all the time too.
I mean, I get a monthly thing from them, and up until this month, it's.
That came through separate, not part of your monthly notice?
No, I think it was a monthly notice.
Okay, if you're not sure, then what I would do is I would reach out to them yourself. You must have one of your statements where you could call. Or Equifax, all you have to do is if you took one of the bags, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian's phone numbers right on one of the packets. Because in order to put a freeze on your credit, you have to call all 3 of them. If you want to put a fraud alert, you call one and they notify the other 2. But for a freeze, you have to go through a little bit more footwork. So I would just call to reach out, but all I'm saying to you is, my email, I know it's out there. I haven't changed it. I changed my password. You could change your password.
That's what I did.
You know,
And I called Apple
things-
for some reason.
What's
I
that?
said I called Apple.
Oh, they told you to change it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they helped me because I was confused about what I wanted. But
Yeah.
when I called, but Apple seems to be a
I
good
mean,
place to
you
go.
know, I used to go, my son's older now, but I always brought my son to Gillette for Patriot games. And anybody here has ever gone to Gillette, this gentleman back there wearing his sweatshirt, so if you ever walk in there, you know that there's always these, these promos where, sign up for a credit card and get this 50-cent towel that says Patriots on it for free. And as you're signing up, all these things are just laid out right on a table. My son used to say, Dad, can we get one of those? I said, no, we can buy one. I'm not doing that. Because when you think about it, there's one guy, maybe two guys buying a table, everybody's filling out these forms with all of your information. Doesn't take much. With technology today, very easy for me, click, click, click. Some people say, how do people steal information anyways? How do they get it? Well, I saw one poster over there, you trash, hacker's dream. People don't shred their documents, they throw them in the trash. Or you get a disgruntled employee somewhere. And what does that person do? Click, got all your information. So you gotta be careful, and only give information that you need to give. Because even at my doctor's office, they have the standard form and then it asks for Social Security number. Why? They need my health insurance number. They don't need my Social Security. I put a line through it. There's no reason to give it. Give it when you need to give it. And, I'll just close with this, and I know most of you don't do it, but it's just jumping into my mind. My oldest daughter, hopefully she doesn't see this cable access channel, my oldest daughter has an app for everything. Your apps are connected to a payment method. So the more places you put your information, the greater your chance increases of potentially getting your information breached. And her credit card has been breached several times. And I always say, you have too many apps. Why do you have to have an app just to shine it off your phone? If you want to pay when you go to the store, just pull out your credit card. It's the same thing. It's linked to it. And don't ever use a debit card for your payments. If you have a credit card, use your credit card. Just remember, your credit card is a line of credit that you have access to. Your debit card is a direct link to your money. And if a scammer gets that, potentially a lot of damage can be done.
Can I ask you to repeat that? What about your debit card?
Well, when debit cards first came out, I think we all thought it was the neatest thing. And then we quickly learned, you don't have to just use it at the ATM. You can use it to make purchases like a credit card. And I'm going to be honest with you. For the longest time, I thought, well, I know I have X amount of dollars in my bank. So if I use my debit card, it's just going to remove that money and then I'm fine. I know from working at the DA's office, that's the furthest from the truth. Okay? And I'll be honest with you, I pay for everything now with my credit card all month long. And then at the end of the month, I just look through the whole thing and I make sure there are no charges on it that I didn't make. And make sure there are no $2 or $3 things that I didn't do, because scammers love to get $3 off your credit card and $3 off a few other thousand people's credit cards, and they do it every month. And it's just a reoccurring charge and people don't notice it. Because we're always looking for the 100 or the 200. But the little numbers make a big difference too. Okay?
My question is a lot of people, nowadays, they get the phone scam still. But what can we do, because we always get into a thing where we want to talk to them and say, it's so hard to hang up all the time.
Well,
and we say,
I always say don't answer it unless, when my phone rings, if I go to my phone, and today I got a phone call from someone that's in North Attleboro, Massachusetts, I didn't answer it. It was you? Okay, sorry, I didn't answer. I will listen to the voicemail later on today, and at that point, if I believe it was you, I'll give you a call back, potentially. But I wouldn't call you back if it was only the number on my phone. I'd have to be able to look up your number on my own, because I don't trust it. You just got to remember, scammers are good actors, and they can convince you they're anyone. And when you're over the phone, it's so much easier. You can be anyone you want. And through emails and text messages, through social media, I could be an 83-year-old woman asking you to accept my friend request.
Yeah.
I can even have a picture of an 83-year-old woman as my profile picture. You're seeing it, you're believing that's who you're speaking to. But you're speaking to me who's trying to scam you. First, I'm going to try to become your friend, then I'm going to try to get into your finances. So, you know, someone tries to befriend you out of the blue, you always got to think, what's this person's angle? You know, and it's a shame that that's how we have to think. But like I always say, you know, I grew up in a house where we didn't have an air conditioner. So we left the windows open all night, and the back door was left unlocked, and we just had the screen door so the wind would, you know, could blow through. Well, today, people don't do that. They lock up all the doors. But they don't realize that that's not the way that people are getting in anymore. They're getting in by us doing click. That's how they're getting in. So,
I have one that doesn't have to do with money. I have a friend who lives out of the country, and we always share memories and things. And all of a sudden, I started getting these weird messages from him where, look at these memories I found, with a link. And I went to my laptop, because my husband told me, because I was looking on my phone, and he said, check the address.
check the email.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
sure enough, it was not his
Yeah.
address at all.
Yeah, that's just, I was just going to say, I was letting you finish, but that's the same as look who died.
Yeah.
You know, I got one very similar to that the other day, and it said, how'd it go? Do you recognize these people in the photos from your high school years?
Yeah.
Wanting me to click on the link. I'm not clicking on that link. I don't know who sent that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just all, it's that curiosity that they're getting you to just click. So.
I had a text message, and it was about, I won't be able to come over for dinner tonight.
Okay, those that, I'm going to just stop you. Those are the wrong number scams. And what they want you to do is text them back and say, oh, who's this? You got the wrong, and then they're going to try to create a conversation with you.
And then she said.
You didn't respond, did you?
I mean, it went back and forth a couple of times, and then I looked at her telephone, she says, oh, my number changed. And the number I saw, that it was an international number, and I said, oh, no. No,
But
no.
I just want you to realize, so they were pretending to be someone you know. A lot of times,
No, it was just an accidental.
okay, well that's, most of the time, is the phone call or the text message. They're accidental, but then they get you to text them, then they text you back. Next thing you know, they're trying to become your friend. But what's the angle? What's the long-term angle?
I didn't know, because I didn't stick around long.
No, I know, but I can tell you what the long-term angle is. Get your information and get your money.
Yeah. But I
So
told them never to
there's
come.
always an angle, and that's what we always have to think. You know, like, the DA has me go out, and it's just to inform. It's not, like, I'm not here to try to make anyone scared or anything. But I just want you to realize, you know, there's so many easy ways to, like, people say, well, how do we protect ourselves? Don't click on the link. Like, one lady said to me, I get more scam calls than anyone I know. So I looked at her, I said, you answer the phone when it rings? And she looked at me, she said, what do you mean? I said, when your phone rings, do you answer it? And she said, yes. I said, that's why you're getting so many. Realize this, if a scammer calls you and you answer the phone, they put a little check mark beside the number. It's a live number. If you converse with them, they put another check mark, 2 check mark, live number, someone willing to converse. They'll sell your number to other scammers. All they need is one more check. You've fallen for the scam. So, you know, I don't encourage, like there's always someone that says, oh, I like to give them a hard time. Don't. If you answer the phone by accident and you realize it's a scam, hang up. Don't worry about being rude, just hang up the phone. Don't engage with them, because I know one woman shared with me that I forgot what, she blew the whistle in their ear, and the person was calling her every night at like 2 and 3 in the morning. And she would block a number, then it would come through on another number. Because realize this, most of the time the number you're seeing is a number that's been spoofed anyways. It's not the real number.
Sometimes when I get calls, and I still have a home phone too, there's a delay. So you better talk
Oh,
fast, because if you don't
the
talk
robocall.
fast, I just hang up.
Yeah, the robocall is just waiting for the click to know that you picked up, and now I'm going to get onto the phone to engage with you.
I just hang up.
But you beat them to the punch.
Yeah. So when Eileen calls, you better talk fast.
Any,
You mentioned a credit fee.
credit freeze.
A credit freeze, yeah?
I don't understand it.
Oh, hey, can I see your bag? No, not a pocketbook. Yeah, your wallet, is your,
Don't give anyone your phone.
is your checking information in there too? I'm trying to remember which pamphlet. Okay, right here on the bottom of this pamphlet here, it says, don't be fooled, the latest scams and frauds. If you go to the last page of the trifold, it gives you Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion's phone numbers, and you have to call each of them to put a freeze. And when you put a freeze, no one can, if someone applies for credit in your name, no credit will be pulled, okay? And if you apply for credit, no credit will be pulled. You're not going to get the loan unless you lift the freeze. Like, let's say, because my credit is frozen now. Today when I leave here, I'm going to go to look at a car and I might try to buy it. So I'm going to have to get a credit check. I have to lift my freeze first. Once I lift it, it's open where I can get a credit check. Once my loan is approved, I put the freeze back on.
Why?
What's that?
Why?
Why?
I know what else
Okay,
is.
because you were just going to give me your pocketbook. And when you gave me your pocketbook, I was going to get your personal identifying I was going to have your personal identifying information. I'm just going to tell you this. Scammers are better at taking out loans than we are. If they get your information, like every time I apply for a loan, they're always at, oh, can you give me this? Can you give me that? Can you give me your last 10 years W-2s or whatever? It always seems like there's something else I have to get. Scammers know the right information to submit, and before you know it, there's a loan out in your name, and you don't know it. Maybe they took out a credit card. Maybe they just don't have any money, and they have bad credit themselves, so they're using yours, and they got utilities turned on in an apartment they're renting. And maybe they're using your information to rent that apartment. You're not aware of it. But if you were asked for a free credit report from any one of those three companies, you can look at it and it shows all inquiries ever made. And then you can look and you say, oh, I didn't make that one. And you'll see that somebody has your information. So the idea is to stop someone from opening credit in your name. It doesn't stop them from potentially getting into your credit card information that you already have. That's different. That's existing. This stops new credit from happening.
Kevin, is it safe to go to the Experian, TransUnion websites and request a credit report that way, or is it better to call them?
You can do either. I've not heard of any way being any more difficult. I always like calling, just because because like when you go on websites, sometimes you can think you're going to a certain site and next thing you know, someone's redirected you somewhere else. So I always like to call the number, and the numbers are right in the pamphlet. And I'm going to tell you this, when I finally decided to freeze mine, I froze mine and my wife's at the same time, which meant I had to get my wife to come sit over here beside of me to do it, because when I had the person on the phone for mine, I said, wait a minute, then I handed it off so we didn't have to call back. And we did all three agencies, and I would say 15 to 20 minutes tops. So, some people say, oh, it doesn't work that smoothly for us. I just called the numbers. I called them in the morning, because you don't want to call like in the middle of the day where everybody and their brother, that's when everyone decides to make their phone calls. Do it first thing in the morning and never late at night, because if you're doing them later in the day, they're busy too, and you're not going to get through.
And what kind of information will Experian ask you for? Will they ask you for all?
Yeah, they're going to make you jump through the hoops of fire, because they're going to ask you for your name, your date of birth, social security number, things like that, because they want to verify that you are who you're saying you are. But the one comfort you should have is you're the one who called them. Okay? And you would want them to ask that question, because what if Sandy was calling pretending to be you and she doesn't have, sorry Sandy, what if Sandy and was using your information? You want them to check things. So.
When you do have credit freeze, because I have that, when you go in to release it for if you're buying something, you can give them a term of time, like 3 days, and then they'll automatically put it back on freeze. You don't have to call to put it back on freeze.
If you know you're going to be approved within those states. Like some people like to lift it because they don't know where, but if you know I'm going to apply today, yes, 3 days is more than enough and you'll be good to go. But like I said, it's not hard to do. You froze yours. 2 of the agencies you have a password with, and one.
3 of them.
I only got, they
Well,
made me
they're
do
numbered.
passwords for 2 of
Oh, I
them,
have to
and one of them, and I can't recall which one didn't make me make a
Oh, I
password.
have one.
I just have to call, and I'm assuming they're gonna ask me my information again to lift it, so. All right, if that's all the questions, all right, appreciate everyone coming, it was a good group. And like I said, always willing to come back, like, I mean, sometimes it's good just to come back if people have questions where you do it more like a roundtable discussion where people are saying, you know, this happened to me. And, you know, I do that as well. Or I have a presentation about scams that kind of shows a lot of the active scams where today I was focusing more with smishing and phishing. And, you know, some people say, well, what are those words? Well, phishing, like I said, is email. Smishing is text. They have vision for if they call you over the phone. They have cushion if they send you QR codes. I say don't worry about the words. Don't click on a link. That's what it comes down to. Don't click on a link. All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you.